And the analogy that I would like to point out would be, just consider it being human, but having superhuman capabilities. It would be able to do everything a human can do, but way, way, way better. Now, already we have an ability. This is in process right now. It's getting smarter and smarter and smarter all the time, and we've had some really good luck with it. We're able to take a look at some of the, in fact, pretty much the whole genome, and determine. We have the ability, anyway, at this point, to determine the genetic predisposition of almost any disease, and maybe every disease or aging-related condition, and aging itself. Now, what's interesting about this is, once we find the genes that are related to a particular condition, let's say aging, then it's able to scour all the literature in the world to determine which compounds are most effective against those genetic predispositions. So this would lead into drug development, rational drug design, nutraceuticals, cosmeceuticals, novel, way better than anything in existence right now, and new gene therapies. Before I get into that, I just want to talk about something that's been bothering me just for a little bit, and well, actually for the last couple of months, and that's the bad exposure that artificial intelligence has been getting in the press. And it emanated primarily from Elon Musk's comments about the risks of smarter than human AI. And then it was Stephen Hawking, of course, you've probably all read about this, and then followed by Bill Gates. Well, it bothers me because I think it's going to lead, or at least I hope it won't, but I think it may lead to over-regulation, over-reaction on regulators' parts. And if that happens, it's going to drive a lot of this research underground. And the people that will be restricted from it are the people that we really want to have do the research. But a part of that problem is, another part of the problem is, we have potentially 7 billion terrorists on the face of this planet. And the reason I say that is we're genetically wired to wage war. And this served us well during the evolutionary process, but it helped us survive. But as civilization started to grow, as we became civilized, we didn't need that wiring anymore. But we didn't lose it because there's not enough time to evolve. Technology has been evolving much faster than we're not even evolving anymore. I mean, that you can measure. Technology has been evolving at a rapid pace, now exponential. And we have, we're just basically, the difference between cavemen right now and the rest of us in this room is technology. You know, we're not all that great. We're not any smarter. We're made smarter through technology. And the technology for waging war, or to defend your turf, or to win your mate at that time, was pretty much limited to as far as you could, maybe reach with a club, and you can be pretty lethal, but on a very limited geographical basis. Well, now the monkey minds, the modern day cavemen, have access to nuclear, to bio, to nanotechnologies. They all have their dark sides. And any new technology is controversial. Every technology has its risks and its rewards. And AI is no different from that. However, there is one difference between AI and the other three technologies, and that's simply, well, first of all, it's not technology that is the risk. It's the misapplication of the technology by these monkey-minded people, that's us, who are in charge of this world, or who are playing parts of this world. And I say that AI is uniquely designed, or uniquely equipped, to mitigate the dangers or the inherent risks in the other technology, simply because it's the only one. We have no way of monitoring the world and seeing what 7 billion people are doing. But we may lose a little bit of freedom, but by the way, the cat's out of the bag. We're not going to stuff that genie back in there again for AI or any of the other technologies. So we might as well use it to the best of our abilities to detect some of the brewing hazards that are maybe being abused by some people that have not perfect intentions in mind. So it'll be able to detect and anticipate some of the dangers, some of the threats, put up a defensive mechanisms against them, counteract them. AI is pretty incredible stuff. Let's say we have a new virus that was unleashed. The AI is uniquely designed where it could be able to come up with a very quick, very effective vaccine, way beyond the capabilities of human beings. The same thing for antidotes if we have different poisons or toxins. And so, why aren't we reading about this AI? Because it has the potential to be the salvation of mankind. Sure, every technology has its risks, but this one is uniquely qualified to be able to monitor the other ones and other technologies as they evolve that might be dangerous. Now, why aren't we reading about any of this? Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Hawking, they all know, they're smart guys. Musk and Gates are very heavily invested in AI. They know what the benefits are. They know the dangers, but they're talking about the dangers. Well, this is not new. Talking about this, and Elon Musk, I think, put up millions of dollars or pledged to organize some initiatives for people, researchers, to get together and talk about how they can control the risks and whatever. But this has been going on for years. Responsible AI researchers have been collaborating formally, they've been collaborating informally, and they've been addressing this situation. So what we really need is better public relations before we have a dangerous situation where we have this technology repressed in the wrong places. Okay, back to the AI and health and longevity. We have another problem, is problem number 2, and that's information overload. I think most of you are aware of how much we're doubling the amount of data every single year. And 90% of the information that we have right now today was created in the last 2 years. And it's getting better or worse depending on how you look at it, but it's accelerating. We're accumulating data faster and faster. We just don't have any way to manage it without something smarter than we are, and that's artificial intelligence. Now, the solution to this, of course, is artificial intelligence. By the way, this is Ben Gersel, co-founder of Psychog Systems. He's in Asia right now, couldn't make the conference. But Peter Voss will be talking tomorrow morning. I urge all of you to be here for his I haven't seen his presentation yet, but I have a good idea what he'll be talking about. And he'll give you a real good education on very strong AI. But AI, of course, can free the bottlenecks. It can take a look at all the data it's massive, and not just categorize it, and not just catalog it, and not just find answers, existing answers to questions like what's an amazing technology, but this technology actually makes discoveries and creates new knowledge. This is an amazing artificial intelligence. And the big problem, in my estimation, because I devoted my life a long time ago to helping solve the aging problem. We lose 100,000 people every single day to aging. And in my opinion, they're all premature. And they are all going to be preventable in the relatively near future. Now, what's the solution for that? Well, we need some breakthroughs. We need some medical breakthroughs in longevity research, other research, health research as well, just in generally. But we're concentrating on the human genome with AI, and we have the most advanced AI that's ever been used for genomics and longevity. And it's getting smarter all the time. And we find that we're finding the genetic, like I said, predispositions for aging. And one example of how powerful this AI is already in its relative infancy states is that Stanford University had the DNA from 17 supercentenarians. Supercentenarians are people that live to 110 or older. And amazingly not, I mean, most people aren't aware of this, maybe you are, but there are less than 100, maybe about 70 in the whole world that are verified. A lot of claims, but only 70 verified. And they came up, they analyzed the DNA trying to figure out what the genetic difference between people that live to 110 or older, and what can we learn about aging from this once we determine that genetic difference. And they had this data with all their resources for about 2 years, maybe not quite 2 years. And it's, unfortunately, but not surprisingly, they couldn't come up with any really solid conclusions. The SciCog team, in a relatively short period of time, took that same data and found several genes, several mutated genes that appear to only exist in supercentenarians. It also found hundreds of combinations of genes that are giving us really, really strong insights and clues as to how, not just as to how we age and why we age, but how we can do something about it, how we can interfere in it and reverse it eventually. Now, I want to talk about how AI is going to enhance gene therapy. Liz Parrish gave a very good presentation about BioViva and some of the things BioViva is doing. And Bill Andrews, of course, was talking about telomeres and telomerase, and one of the gene therapies that BioViva is doing has something to do with telomerase. And the potential for this is staggering. We heard several people talk about reversing aging, open-ended lifespans during this conference so far, and that's exactly where we're at. And with one gene, just working with one gene, there's the potential to reverse aging. Think about that, along with other benefits. The potential to possibly reverse Alzheimer's, at least slow down the progression. We won't know for a while, but maybe this time next year, we're going to have a good idea. At least be a vaccine, in effect, for Alzheimer's. So when people get this treatment early in life, they may never, ever be at risk. And the other gene is the one that she talked about to clear out atherosclerosis. The industrialized world's single biggest killer, heart disease. And what if we can clear out the arteries of the world? We all have atherosclerosis, we all do. And even at a young age, it leads to, I don't even have the statistics for how many millions of people that die every year, but imagine the magnitude of these two breakthroughs and the impact it'll have on humanity. Now, consider, what about the other 20,000 genes that express proteins, and they express a total of about 100,000 different proteins. That is what makes you what you are. How tall you are, how smart you are, what you look like, on and on and on, how long you're going to live, how healthy you're going to be, how healthy you are. And it's just, it's mind-boggling as to what the potential for gene therapy is. And when you factor in that we have about 40 trillion cells, plus or minus, in the average human body, about 1 million of them die and get replaced every single second. And then you have every every cell that contains anywhere between 250,000 and 1 million proteins. Well, we've got this incredible harmony, we've got this symphony, this dance, ballet, call it what you want, of quadrillions of biochemical reactions taking place constantly from the time you're conceived until the time you finally wind down and die. And it's almost perfect in the respect that it keeps us alive and in pretty prime shape for 40 or 50 years, then we start to decline. Now, what if we had a good handle on all that information? What if we had as much information on the other 20,000 genes as we have on these two? What if we had more information on these two and better ways to deliver them, better ways to fine-tune them? I mean, we're talking about, you call it what you want, but I'm calling about never dying from aging and about reversing the human aging process. And just to summarize, I think am I less than 10 minutes or 29 minutes? Did I do my 29 and a half? I just want to point out that rather than be afraid of technology, embrace it. Technologies fail sometimes. They're misapplied sometimes. Don't be afraid of them, because without a risk, there's never going to be a reward. And one example, this morning, I spent a good part of this morning outside my hotel room trying to get back in after breakfast. And what happened? I had the electronic key and the battery died. Not in the key, in the lock. Now there's no way to get in that room with a dead battery in the lock, so they had, security came up in the engineering, and they finally got me into the room. And just for a minute there, I thought, well, I kind of miss the old days with the lock and the key. but the old days, the conveniences of modern technology, even though they carry some failures with sometimes, and even though they may or may not present a risk, if you don't have them, it leads to terminality. That's 100% guaranteed. So I got in the room. I was happy. With the prospect of open-ended lifespans, and so just embrace the benefits of AI. Embrace the benefits of any technology that has potential to kill or cure. A hammer can kill or can pound a nail or kill you. And like I say, it's the fastest way to cure aging. It's the fastest way to optimize gene therapy. And I left a blank here. Whoops, what did I do? Okay, I hit the wrong button. I left a blank here for you to fill it in. What disease would you like to avoid? Which one would you like to cure? You can fill in anything there, and gene therapy combined with AI that would be able to understand possibly these quadrillions of chemical reactions going on in our bodies all the time. I don't see any limit as to what it can do for us physically. And we didn't even talk about enhancement. I mean, who wouldn't like to be just a little bit smarter, or just a little bit stronger? Anybody here? Nobody. I don't think anybody would. Maybe nobody in the world. Just a little bit, healthier, live a little bit longer. Well, I don't think anybody in this room. I know I'm not. I'm not satisfied with a little bit. I want it all. I do. I want it all. And thank you. And once we get it all, we're going to find even more. Possibility after possibility after possibility. And we want to turn those into probabilities and then into historical events. So I want to thank you very much. If anybody wants to contact me for any reason, here's my contact information, and I guess we'll have some Q&A.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
It's wonderful. I do want to relinquish the pointer to Jim Stroll.